All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, welcome to Virtual Tape Backup for IBM webinar and how to eliminate physical tape. My name is Axe Seiner, Vice President of Solutions here at Electronic Storage Corporation. Our corporation is located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We have been in business for over 30 years. We're a software developer, so here in our Tulsa office we have our own programming staff and also customer service and technical support staff. We are an IBM registered business partner and a Microsoft certified partner. So we're going to replace your physical tape with a virtual tape solution. So here's how this works. A simple transition. Will it work with what you're doing today? Use existing backup commands, remote management, fully automated backups, multi-thread features, unlimited tape library management, archive and purge. So absolutely, will it work with what you're doing today? With the IBM side, you're able to use any of your existing backup commands, BRMS, robot save, go backup. And this is going to be a fully automated process where completely unattended, you're not having to load and unload physical tape, load and unload physical tape libraries. Everything's going to be completely automated with automatically loading of a virtual tape to perform the backup in an unintended process. And also archive and purge, that gives you the ability to manage the retentions of your backups, the ability to archive long-term storage backups. Say your annual backups need to be stored for a certain number of years. And this is ultimately going to lower the cost of your IT operations with not having to deal with physical tape. So let's get digital. How does virtual tape work? So restoring and managing your backups. Virtual tape is a solution that emulates exactly what either a physical tape device does or a tape library. So this gives you the ability to do restoring and managing of your backups in an automated process. Also, speed is a key ingredient with disk-to-disk backup, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. We're going to talk a little bit about data protection, giving you the ability to replicate for disaster recovery, to be able to replicate to cloud for disaster recovery, and also talk a little bit about data deduplication, which can greatly reduce replication time as well as physical disk storage. So we feel the need for speed. So we're looking at a chart here that shows the differences in the vital VTL disk-to-disk backup solution compared to even up to LTO9. So you're looking at over doubling the speed of your backup, shortening your backup window, giving you the capability of backing up more data that you aren't currently backing up because of the speed of your LTO tape. So a VTL solution compared to physical tape can greatly reduce your backup time. Restoring and protecting your data. So with a virtual tape solution, you have a fast and reliable recovery time, being that you can have multiple copies of your backups. You can have a disaster recovery copy. You can have a cloud copy of your backups. That's not something that's really doable with a tape physical tape solution, whereas with physical tape, it has to be off-site, has to be transported off-site for disaster recovery, has to be stored in a safe location for disaster recovery. So in order to recover any of that data, of course, the tape has to be retrieved, the physical tape. With your restoring and recovery time with a virtual tape solution, all your tapes are available. All your retentions are available, your dailies, weeklies, monthlies, all of those retentions are available online. And anytime you can go in and say, we'd like to perform a recovery, we would need to restore a library, an object, and the tape that in which those files are located is online, available to recover immediately. Also, with virtual tape, you rule out human error, which can happen, mislabeled tapes, lost tapes, damaged tapes. So physical tape relates to where you're having to manage those tapes instead of having an automated process where all your tapes are virtual. So a little bit about data deduplication. Data deduplication involves getting rid of and not having to save redundant copies of your backups, specifically a block level data deduplication. Blocks that contain data that's already been saved doesn't have to be saved again. So when data is chopped up into different blocks and compared to if that data in that block is new or changed, doesn't need to be saved. So this can greatly decrease your storage costs, your storage needs. It improves your data protection and also reduces the amount of time to replicate your data because you're replicating only new and changed blocks of data each time you perform a replication. And this can reduce your storage of your backups up to 10 times. Now, LaserVault also partners with other deduplication backup solutions such as Exagrid, Rubric, Cohesity, and many others, where LaserVault is a gateway to that backup solution. And those backup solutions provide data deduplication, replication, data protection, immutability, and all the features that are available on those backup solutions are available to your IBM I backups. LaserVault also has data deduplication capabilities built in, and using LaserVault storage, local storage, or network attached storage can be used with data deduplication on LaserVault, or it can be used on an existing backup appliance. Okay, so we're going to take a look at a quick demo of our solution called LaserVault Vital. First thing we're going to take a look at is the login to the LaserVault Vital web interface. So once logged in, first thing we're going to take a look at is the actual configuration of a virtual tape library, which LaserVault can emulate a tape library or a physical tape device. So depending on what you're currently using, if you're currently using a physical tape library, you can have LaserVault emulate that tape library, or it can emulate a single tape device. LaserVault also does support NPIV, giving you up to 64 virtual tape devices per fiber channel port in the LaserVault system. So the connectivity between the IBM I and LaserVault is just like physical tape, fiber channel, or SAS connection from the IBM I to LaserVault, which is going to be a server environment with the VTL software LaserVault Vital installed. And that's either going to have local storage on that server, or it can be NAS attached storage, SAN attached storage, or a data deduplication backup device. So let's take a look at the properties of a particular tape library. There's a name, which corresponds to when you can go to the left here and access your inventory. This is where your virtual tape inventory is going to be stored. So here we have, in this example, a server with a volume of disk, the E drive. That disk is going to contain the backups, the virtual tapes, and that would be local storage. Instead, that path could be an SMB share, CIF share path to network attached storage, data deduplication appliance. So whatever storage that you would like to provide to LaserVault, simply point that library path to that storage. LaserVault emulates Ultrium 2 up to 3, 5, and also Ultrium 8. None of these Ultrium choices have a storage limitation of the virtual tapes. So if your backup, for example, is 10 terabytes, it can fit on one virtual tape, no matter which of these LTO versions that you use. Also, they don't make any, there's not any difference in the speed between the different LTO versions. Typically, you would use 5 or 8 as your LTO. Storage slots. This is gives you the capability of adding storage slots, creating storage slots for your virtual tapes. This number can go as high as 16,000 storage slots. That's 16,000 virtual tapes. Now you can go in and increase that number anytime that you need more tapes. So if you need to create more tapes for more retentions, for more backups, increase that number and go ahead and add in more virtual tapes into those new storage slots. So this virtually gives you an unlimited amount of tape storage where you can have all your retentions available. Data block file count. We mentioned multi-thread, and that's the data block file count option parameter. So this means that 8 files are being written during the backup. So you're saving, for example, to one virtual tape during your backup, but the data is being written to 8 files. So what we're doing is we're multi-threading the backup to make it run faster. The sweet spot there is between 8 and 16 files for each virtual tape that's being written. And this also is good for restores, because your restores are also much faster, because there's a multi-thread restore process too that's built in. Write cache and read cache, both of those you can change typically between 8 and 16 meg. So that would be for backup speed, how much data is written to cache before it's written to disk. And then read cache for restore speed. Typically, customers set that between 8 and 16. LaserVault comes standard with compression. So with this option checked during the backup, the data is compressed. That averages about 5-to-1 compression. Data deduplication. So this is an optional license for LaserVault Vital. And it gives you the capability of performing deduplication of the data at the block level. So blocks that have new and changed data during a save are saved to disk. Blocks that are already saved where there's no new or changed data, those blocks don't have to be saved again, therefore not having to duplicate the data. And this can reduce your footprint of your data about 10 times. It could be even higher than that, depending on the change rate of the data. Encryption is included with deduplication or encryption. So the data is encrypted during the backup process. It remains encrypted during replication, so that it resides on the replication site, either disaster recovery physical site or cloud or both. And this would be your encryption key for performing. This automatically is used when performing a restore to unencrypt the data during a restore. Replication and retention. So this is where you can copy your backups from local storage that you save to for fast saves and fast restores. For disaster recovery purposes, you can create a replication process of copying those virtual tapes from your production or backup site to DR site and or cloud storage. So the other two, I have a network path. So this would be, say, a LaserVault server or NAS or SAN storage at a DR site in which the tape volumes are being replicated. Amazon 3, Microsoft Azure, Wasabi, some of the cloud options that you can set up for replicating to a cloud account of your backups. And you can have a hybrid of this where you can have certain backups go to clouds, certain backups go, maybe all backups go to DRs, or certain backups go to cloud. You may want to take long-term backups, store those that are not typically ever needed for restores, and store those in a different lower tier, slower recovery speed on cloud storage, therefore reducing your cloud storage costs. So we'll just take a look at some of the parameters. Email notifications of your replication job. So when the replication job starts, completes, or if there's an error, then an email notification is automatically sent. You can set the prefix of your volumes. So with virtual tapes, just like physical tapes, when they're initialized, you're able to give them up to 6 characters for their volume ID. And typically that volume ID is prefixed with 1, 2, or 3 characters. And therefore you can set this particular retention and also replication to a specific set of volumes, whether that's weekly, monthly, daily, annual backups. For each set of volumes, you can have different replication and retention policies for those virtual tapes. Since I have it set to Azure, I have all of my cloud storage properties for the cloud storage account, including the ability to set which tier to replicate those backups. Then you also have down below local retention and remote retention. So this is where you can enable retention of your backups based on age or based on number of volumes, as well as any copies of your backups that are replicated. You have remote retention settings for those. Now, if you're using Robot Save or BRMS, retention is typically managed with those backup solutions, where you're going to have media policies on your volumes, and they will eventually, once they reach their retention, they will be initialized during BRMS maintenance and reused again, and also replicated once they've been saved too. Up here at the top right, you can set your virtual tapes with multiple worldwide port names per physical fiber channel port. So each physical fiber channel port on LaserVault, whether it's 8 gig, 16 gig, 32 gig fiber channel, up to 64 devices per physical port can be defined for each port and available across multiple partitions, whether you have one tape library with multiple tape devices, or whether you have multiple tape libraries, each with one or more tape devices assigned. So a lot of times the configuration of LaserVault to the IBM I side would be the amount of data, the amount of time that it needs to be saved, and then also the number of tape devices will determine speed of your fiber channel in LaserVault, as well as the number of fiber channel ports used to connect. And you can do direct connect, or you can do through a fiber switch. And then you can define group access. So when a user belongs to a particular group, when they've logged into this interface, I belong to the administrator group for my login, and these are all the different options that I'm allowed to change with a virtual tape and tape library. Okay, so let's take a look at library 1 and show some of the features. Here's your drive and all your slots in which your tapes reside. So during the configuration of the tape library, we specified the number of slots, and then we hit create to create the virtual tapes. So put in your volume prefix, 1, 2, or 3 characters, the next slot number that's available in this particular case is where the first empty slot begins is 38. I want to go ahead and make 11 tapes and go ahead and initialize those. So once those are added into the virtual tape library, they're available in BRMS to add and assign media policies or media class to those tapes. So they're available for backing up. So it's extremely simple to set this up, where in probably 99% of the time we're remotely connected to the LaserVault solution that you have in house, and then able to help you install, set up the parameters, and also work with you on training on how to use the solution. Some of the other features you have, such as move, where you can move a tape from one slot to another, move a tape into a drive. Since I'm admin, I can delete a tape, export a tape, which moves it to the export path. This particular path happens to be cloud storage. Now, exporting a tape is different than replicating. Export means it's moved to that export path and out of the tape library. So it's no longer an inventory, but it is exported. And you can use import to go and bring back any tape that you've exported. So a lot of times this is used for long-term storage of tapes, archiving of tapes, where you would like to store them at a different location instead of local storage. You also have protect and unprotect. Oh, by the way, export as well as protect and unprotect can be automatically configured to run from the IBM I side. So if you'd like that to run after the backup to protect the tape, which means you cannot delete it, initialize it, overwrite it, and you can't even delete it from this interface until it's unprotected. So protecting the tape means that it cannot be deleted, cannot be initialized, and cannot be overwritten. Also, there's a feature to click labels, which shows you all the libraries that are in that save, as well as the sequence and the size of each of the libraries. So if you need to see what's on the tape before you load it and restore from it, you can click that and go view labels, or you can even just do a display tape and show all of that information on the IBM I side. And of course, BRMS, if you're using that, everything's available in the BRMS database to select a file, a library, or an object to restore, and it automatically loads the tape. So this is emulating exactly what a virtual tape or a physical tape library does. It only gives you virtually unlimited number of tapes. It also automatically loads and unloads tapes for saves and restores. Okay. Now on the IBM I side, let's just take a look at what we're emulating. Here I am with TAP MLB v1. This would be LaserVault tape library and the LaserVault tape device. So that constitutes one worldwide port name, and you would have 63 more devices that could be defined with that one fiber channel connection with additional worldwide port names that are defined. The other option, if you're not using a physical tape library, you're using physical tape device, LaserVault can emulate a tape device, and that is TAP v2. Okay. So to review, you're looking at the capability of using a virtual tape solution with a faster backup process, shorter backup window, also faster restore and recovery, data protection where you have multiple copies of your backups. With physical tape, really just have one copy, and that copy can be constantly in motion from the DR site, the offsite location, and recovering that tape. So disaster recovery, you have the ability to create additional copies of your backups, even including copying to tape and copying from tape to disk, either way. So disaster recovery gives you the ability to easily recover a full system save through demode IPL of a full system virtual tape save. So it gives you a much faster recovery time with a virtual tape solution as compared to physical tape. Data deduplication, whether you're using an existing or looking at a data deduplication device, that's going to save you quite a bit of expense in disk storage and also reduce the amount of time it takes to replicate. So in the GoToMeeting webinar panel, there are these additional resources to download. The quote sizing questionnaire, this would give us a good idea of how to configure fiber channel ports, storage, look at compression or deduplication of the data, also determine replication and other configuration and sizing options that are available to configure a VTL solution for your IBM backups. Video on reasons to go tapeless and LaserVault in 60 seconds video. So I had a question here about backup time for about 20 terabytes. That's really going to depend if you're looking to back that up, say you're using a single tape device. So if you're using a virtual tape device, you're looking at probably terabyte and a half per hour backup speed. Using parallel tape devices, so say we're using 2 to 3 tape devices for that backup and running a parallel save, you're probably looking at cutting that time in half. But it really, a lot of it depends on your fiber channel speed. It's going to also depend on the number of tape devices that you use, but you're looking at a backup time of about a terabyte and a half an hour for one virtual tape device. Yes, you can replicate to cloud for disaster recovery rather than a separate DR site. So then yes, only one LaserVault solution on site. Yes, and a new LaserVault solution could be synced up with the cloud to recover those files. So once those files are recovered, LaserVault sees those files, then the virtual tape library that's seeing those files will load those as tapes into inventory. So all it needs to do is see the files, whichever files that you're needing to recover with, and that doesn't have to be all of your tapes. It can just be the tapes that you need to recover. And then you can go on and recover the rest of your files, which would load those tapes into inventory. So for each virtual tape, there are a set of files that are stored locally and also can be replicated to the cloud. So once we see those files, the tape inventory is reloaded. Those tapes are available to restore. So if it's just one tape, take those set of files, recover them from cloud into the new LaserVault solution, new LaserVault system, and it will see that as a tape, and then you can begin restoring. Yes, you can do that. You can monitor the backup activity from that interface, and it will show the volume storage changing, only being read. I mean written. I'm sorry, written too. So you'll see data being written. On the GUI interface, it does show you how much space that tape is using. During the backup, it will show you as it's writing data that amount of space increasing during the write process. Yeah, the additional resources. So there should be, I'm not sure if you see this on my screen. This is the GoToMeeting panel and the handouts. So all I did was just go to the panel, and there's dashboard, polls, handouts, there's a chat, So if you expand on the handouts, that'll show you the documents that you can download. Yeah, you can. Yes, you can replicate. Maintenance activities. Probably the main one would be how you want to. The LaserVault runs in a Windows server environment. So that the LaserVault runs in a Windows server environment. So probably the main maintenance activity for that would be, updating, performing updates, which you want to set to not run updates during when you run backups. Yes, you could. Is there an option for physical storage or cloud storage? You could actually back up directly to cloud. So if you point the library configuration, the library path to cloud storage, you could actually write that data directly to the cloud during the backup. Speed could be an issue. So speed could be an issue because of this. Depending on the speed you have between across the internet to your cloud storage provider. Typically, what you want in this case, you would want to save locally, then replicate to cloud. You can also export to cloud, meaning that you could move that tape to cloud storage, bring it back if you needed it with import. Just seeing if there's any other questions. Yeah, we'll go ahead and send out the videos. We can send a link to those for you. Okay, so we'll wrap it up here. If you'd like to see a demo, you can shoot us an email at info@laservault.com. We do offer a $50 Amazon gift card for completing a demo. And you can mention AGC50 in the email, and we'll be able to discuss more in detail your IBM I backup requirements. We'll have a drawing of a pair of Bluetooth earbuds right after this session, and then the winner will be notified via email that you're the winner of the Bluetooth earbuds. So thanks everyone for your time. Please contact us at info@laservault.com. Our phone number is also below on the left. And if you have any additional questions, let's see. Yep, looks like we're good. So I want to thank everybody for your time and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.